What's up, y'all? We are back, episode 30 of the Nashville Stampede Out of the Park Baseball 24 series. We're here in the 2033 offseason, and man, we caught a freaking break. So the Adley Rushman contract was looking like an albatross, $30 million for the next 2 years. He decided to retire, which, oh my God, does that save our asses. That contract was going to be our highest paid guy for the next 2 seasons, and he retired, obviously due to performance and the fact that he just fell off a cliff this season. I swear I did not force retire him. And, that opens up our books a ton. Marquez had a team option. We obviously kept that, even though he's 30. He's going to be 36 this season. He's still one of the best pitchers in baseball, and that was a no-brainer, especially with that. I honestly didn't even see that Rushman had retired until I went into the lineups and went to go start setting them, and he wasn't here, and, it works out well for us. So, now we have some money to spend. We have $30 million available. Our budget did get dropped about $14 million going into the offseason, but obviously that can change. We still have $30 million to spend here. $70 million next year, with some big contracts coming off the books. We'll have Marquez, a free agent after next season. We'll have Correa, Molinax, both guys that need new contracts if we decide to go that route. I don't know what I'm thinking of these guys. I haven't even looked at extensions. Not terribly unreasonable. We might keep Molinax around at that figure. He's been awesome for us, and then hopefully we can get a full season from Kira this season. And then Marquez, we'll see what happens with him. He wants a pretty big deal at the age 36. I'm not sure. I feel pretty good about how our pitching looks long term. So, but yeah, we're losing a lot of key players. Correa, Molinax, Hackenberg. I don't know if I'm going to bring him back this year. We've kind of been just playing him out. And the ratings are just not great at this point. He's about a league average pitcher. It has value, but, man, he's been around for so freaking long. How does he still have another year of arbitration? I mean, he's been in the majors for parts of 8 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 seasons, and he still has another year of arbitration. The service time, we didn't really play him a lot the first 4 years, which makes sense why he still has another year. But, man, he feels like he's just been here forever. It might just be time to move on and try to go a different route with that $3.8 million, whatever he's asking. And then, everyone else is kind of just under contract. We should be good moving forward. But, yeah, we catch a nice break with the Rushman retirement. We'll have to re-sign some minor league guys. I'll do arbitration off camera, but I wanted to talk about the state of the team, I guess. We've perpetually underperformed in the playoffs, and I don't really know how to change that. We haven't won a championship since 2027, despite having one of the best rosters, minus 2029. I don't know what happened that year. Whatever. But yeah, we've had one of the best teams consistently pretty much since our inception. And we've only had one championship to show for it, so how do we beef up this roster? I think an upgrade at catcher. I don't know if Chris Grimm's the guy. He's tentatively slated in to start. We'll have Lesko back, I suppose. He might need a platoon partner, though, and then, we'll have Correa, we'll have Harris, we'll have Stroman in the infield. Stroman's good enough at short. He's not the issue. He's about a well above league average player. Then the outfield, I don't even want to slot Eddie Els in yet. I guess we'll have Kira in center. We'll have Molinax in right. Or maybe it'll be Molinax in left and Valderas in right. All these guys need to be in the lineup, obviously. So I think our outfield's kind of set. So where does that leave Eddie Els? If we have 2 platoon partners, it's going to be Lesko and Els. So we need a right-handed platoon guy. Carter Smith kind of emerged as that player. He had a really good season last year, but I don't know if he's necessarily a good enough bat to justify that. Greggio's a guy I would like to try out, but I can't bank on him working out. I mean, I would be cool rolling with Els and Grigio as our platoon guys there. We got Bob Long coming back. Then Harrington could back up the infield, honestly, pretty well. He can't really play shortstop anymore. His range has dropped. He filled in a bit at short this year, but yeah, honestly, our upgrades are gonna have to come at catcher, and I like Bob Long as our backup outfielder. Honestly, I think he's perfectly adequate in that spot. I think Carter Smith can back up some outfield too. So, I mean, catcher is pretty much the biggest hole to plug on this team. And I don't know if that's going to come via trade or via free agency. Let's check this out really quick. See who the free agents are. Aaron Bracho's an outfielder now. Okay, wow. Yeah, you got Paul Skeens out here. He's only 31. I mean, would be a cool guy to sign. He's been one of the best pitchers in baseball. Garrett Bauman's another guy who's been one of the best pitchers in the league for a while now. Andrew Painter's a guy I almost traded for at the beginning of the year. I mean, yeah, there's not a ton out here I love. I mean, these are obviously just the guys they want to highlight. Carson Williams. At least let's see how he turns out. Gabriel Moreno's here, but he's not really a defensive catcher. So, yeah, we might just go for defense at catcher. Use Grimm as kind of a platoon guy. And, yeah, the pitching staff, I feel good about this. This isn't really a huge concern of mine. We'll have Marquez back. We'll have Allman, Colburn, and then Bumbre, who, did I even mention that he went out? I think I forgot to talk about this, but yeah, he had surgery to remove bone chips. He was out for 7 months, I think. Yeah, so totally forgot. I totally glossed over that at the end of the season. That's why he wasn't on the team. Then we'll have Dave McCrabb back too, and let me just activate those guys off the IL. Hence won't be back. Oh, I don't have 40-man room? Okay. I'll do this off camera, but what is Tink Hence? Yeah, probably won't bring him back at that figure. So, yeah, that's kind of where the team is. I think the pitching staff's fine. Maybe the bullpen. Honestly, the bullpen wasn't an issue this year, so maybe we'll run it back with the guys we got. And yeah, we'll have Bumbre in here. We'll have Graysick. We have some guys in the minors that are on their way. Oh, duh. I want to put Robbie Watkins in there, too. Yeah, I think this is a pretty formidable rotation. None of these guys are making money besides Marquez, which works out perfectly. That probably pushes Hackenberg on the way out. And, yeah, we'll have a bunch of different guys we can use as starters, too. So, yeah, I think the team's in good shape overall. We should keep making improvements and upgrade a catcher, and hopefully some guys in the minors work out, like Josh Shields. Looking like a pretty promising player. The control might be an issue, but that's nothing new on this team. Then Kikane Tari, I finally freaking scouted him fully. He's still not scouted fully, but yeah, he was at like a 30 potential. All of a sudden he shot up to an 80, even though his ratings didn't change. But yeah, so excited for this dude if he works out. Yeah, so I'll jump off, figure out some off-season stuff, and we'll hop back in just a moment. All right, so we've hit free agency here, and we have one big offer out. So there was two big fish that I kind of wanted to grab one of them. Paul Skeens is a free agent. He's 31 years old, going to be 32 when the season starts, and wanted quite a decent contract, 30 mil over 7 years. Probably could have gone down to like 28 for 5, but I decided against that. I'm going to go with this guy, Isaac Morton, who won Cy Young last year in the AL. Leader, high work ethic. He's a captain. 29 years old. Won't even be 30 when the season starts. He does have compensation attached to him, and obviously there's deficiencies more so than Skeens here. But I mean, you look at his career stats, and like he's just a really, all-star level pitcher pretty much every season. And I like how he could probably age. So I want him throwing an offer out. 6 years, $138 million. I think it comes out to 23 a year. I think it was 23 a year. You know, my thinking behind that is Marquez isn't going to be here forever. He's 36 when the season starts. He already has the issues with the stamina, obviously, but he's a free agent after next season. I don't know if we're going to be able to keep him, so we want a contingency plan moving forward without him. So, you know, this gives us our best chance to win this season and moving forward with a young ace, or a relatively young ace. You know, where does that leave the rest of our team? That probably pushes... I mean, Bumbre, I don't know if he'll be ready for the start of the season. He probably goes to the bullpen. We still have 5 really good starters, so, like, I think this makes a ton of sense. I don't think the offense has a ton of places we can upgrade at this point. There wasn't a lot out in free agency that I liked. I was looking for, like, a right... or a righty masher, but, I mean, those guys you can find. You can find a good... right-handed bat out in free agency, like when the season starts, and you know it's not a huge need for us anyway. So yeah, I think this makes a lot of sense. We have the money to spend, at least for this season. You know, obviously the Kira thing is kind of, you know, after next season he's probably gonna opt out. We're gonna have to give him a big deal, but you know we have a ton of money coming off the books after the season anyway. I don't think it's a big. We're pretty financially set moving forward. We only have $75 million. Projected for salaries next season, so as long as we win this year, we can make we'll have some money available. So yeah, we're gonna move forward, see what happens with that deal, see if we can pick up Morton. And okay, so someone offered him 24 for 6. I would do that still. You know, it brings him through his age 35 season. Not a huge, like, I don't know. We've had worse contracts on this team at this point. So let's see what happens here. Hopefully we pick him up. You know, if it pushes any farther, we're going to have to consider it. But I'm comfortable going to, like, 26 for 6, I think. And we haven't heard anything yet. We did lose Torkelson. That was really never going to happen anyway. He signs a pretty decent contract. 4 years, about AAV of 15 mil. So good for him. He capitalizing on a good season from himself. And then one of the big fish come off the market, Paul Skeens, goes to the Rays. And then Garrett Bauman, who wasn't a guy I was really interested in, but he goes to the Yankees. So, you know, Morton was on the Yankees before. That probably brings them out of the running, but also they have a huge payroll, so it's possible they sign them both. We'll just have to see about that. So some guys coming off the market. Luis De La Rosa, a guy I tried to trade for at the deadline. He goes to Minnesota from the White Sox. And boom, we pick up Isaac Morton. We lose a third-round pick. That's fine. And the players appreciate his leadership. So there we go. We'll add him to the active roster. And, I mean, going into opening day, this is about as good of a rotation as you can kind of draw up. We have our true workhorse in Morton. We have our ace, our true ace. Going to give us $180 every season. You know, he doesn't miss starts, really. He missed a few in 2031. But, like, he's been remarkably healthy throughout his career. Knock on wood. Then you got Milt Allman, Johnny Colburn, who kind of play those, like, 3 and 4 starter roles about as well as you can draw it up. And then Robbie Watkins is a true wild card. Could be an ace with this makeup. But, you know, he has a long way to go. And then Bumbre, too. A guy who I drafted in the first round in 2031 and has come along well and had a good season last year. So, really pumped with how this rotation looks. The offense still has its issues, but I think if we get some bounce-back seasons from, like, Lesko and we pick up a defensive catcher, which I think we can do pretty easily, we should have a pretty decent offense once again. And, you know, we just got to get to the playoffs and hope for the best. So we're at the Rule 5 draft here. I think I added everyone that I wanted to the 40. Yeah, so I had to add a few guys. One of them was Amazan, who could possibly be a starting catcher for us next season. Has the good enough defense. The bat, he really hasn't hit well at any level, but he was pretty good in AAA last year. He's only 23. He's definitely in the competition for being on the opening day roster. And then John Becerra, who was a second-round pick in 2029. Another guy who hasn't hit incredibly well at any level, but did pretty decent in AA last year. Called him up to AAA at the end of the year. But, you know, there's upside here. I don't know if there's a ton with the defense. But, you know, maybe this is our guy to platoon with Mike Lesko over at first. Not really a prototypical first baseman, but neither is Lesko. So let's jump into the Rule 5 draft here. And Alex Kranzler, old friend of the Nashville Stampede program, was pitching in AA last year for some reason, but a guy I would definitely grab here if he winds up falling. So Jacob Gonzalez got drafted. That's fine. He was kind of depth that I signed at the beginning of last year. Was pretty good down there, and glad he gets to have the opportunity in LA or San Francisco. So here we go. Our pick is here. So really, we just want to grab some bullpen arms. Probably only one. I don't like abusing the Rule 5 draft. I mean, there's some decent arms. I love Kranzler, obviously. A guy that I didn't want to give up, but I mean, what was the deal? What happened with this? Oh yeah, we got the international pool money for him last season, which looks like it might work out. But yeah, Kranzler. I mean, Kranzler's available. If they're not going to put him on his 40-man roster, I'm going to snag him back. So they got like 7 games for him. Whatever. Good for the Red Sox, I guess. But there we go. That'll wrap up the Rule 5 draft. And we can slot Kranzler in. I don't love that he's now stuck on our roster all year, but it was his last option year. I'm sure he'll stick on the team. And yeah, boom. Let's we'll keep Simon forward. I'll do this off camera because, you know, this part of the season kind of drags. I also need to do international guys before I forget. And February 1st, since it doesn't come up, I need to remember to do that as well. Just a mental note for myself, kind of. Saying it out loud helps a lot. So we'll go through a couple guys on the training. Don't love this dude. Pitcher's interesting. Really love his personality, and his bat's not bad either, so grab him. Luis Silva, pretty decent prospect. Wants a lot of money, so probably stray away from him, but it's worth scouting him. And then Aguilar doesn't want a lot. I'll throw him on the training. The catcher's not really good enough defensively. This guy's got good defense. Doesn't want a lot of money. Another guy, similar build, 300,000. We'll do that. This is like if we have any. Ooh. It's like if we have any extra money, I go after these cheaper guys. But man, Dave Lemus. It's always interesting why these guys have such low potentials. I get his stamina isn't really high, but I mean, if he's gonna only ask for 390,000, I'd totally snatch him up for $1 million. And we have one more spot. This guy's interesting enough, although he doesn't really have an out pitch. I like this guy. Let's go with him. Doesn't want a lot. You know, I'll probably only wind up signing one of these guys realistically. Because I usually just get pushed for, you know, these guys always run up the prices and stuff. So there we go. We got about a month and a half until that happens. So I'll cut out and we'll hop back around international time probably. All right, so we wound up signing one guy in international free agency. I really wanted this guy Ferreira, but I don't know how much he got driven up. I'm a little bit concerned about his makeup. Like the fastball sinker and curveball's not really an out pitch. Who knows if the changeup will develop? There's a lot of question marks with that, as there are with every one of these guys. But Wilfredo Pineda was a guy. I loved his personality, loved the bat, and I think he could develop into a really good player potentially. So he'll hang out in the complex for maybe a year or so, and then you know, maybe I'll call him up. I don't know. We'll see how he develops in the offseason. But yeah, super excited about Pineda. We used our entire international slot money on that. So yeah, we kind of been hitting on some of these guys. I mean, Tari looks like a potential stud. I might should call him up to the rookie league. And yeah, I don't know. We're just doing okay with the minor leagues at this point. Kind of settled in after a kind of rough start to all of this. so interesting. I don't know if he's ready for A-ball, but he kind of looks maybe like he is. I'm just looking through some of my minor league guys here. Kurt Fleming is a first-round pick last season. Coming along decently. Those rookies are those high school rookies are always tough. Devon Self is a guy we took in the first round in 2032. This is why I don't love taking high school hitters. His potential has dropped a bit. Still looks like a decent prospect, but he'll probably start the year in A-ball. I'm just going to call him up now. We still have Sprav. He was a first-round pick in 2031. Had a decent year in Double A. I'll probably call him up to Triple A to start the year. Could be in the majors at some point this season. Jeremy Hall was a former second-round pick. He's up to Double A, probably Triple A at the start of the year. Eric Boxberger was a guy I really liked. He was the 6'7", kind of towering starter with a really low floor, pretty high upside, and he's coming along. He's coming along okay. I'll probably start him in A. He's only going to be 21 when the season starts. So let's throw him up to A, see what he can do. Any other guys that really catch my eye? Chad Fletcher was a second-round pick last season. Good upside guy. Didn't pitch well in rookie ball last year, so he'll probably stay down there. Although, he's 20. He's going to be 21 when the season starts. I don't know. We'll see. And anyone else worth talking about down here? Keith Bogans is a 13th round pick. He cracks my top 30 prospects. I think this is top 20, actually. Zach Hughes, former third-round pick. Up to high A last season, but didn't do anything there. Maybe run out of time with him, but yeah, that's pretty much the only update. Once spring training starts, I'll probably sign some minor league guys. I guess it's worth looking now, honestly. What are our big needs? Patrick Bailey's still out here. So Patrick Bailey was the guy I was looking at. What's a minor league deal? Yeah, he'd be my starting catcher right now. And our owner did increase our budget back to $210 million, so we got $14 more million. Although Gabriel Moreno, his defense isn't really good enough. That's the reason I like Bailey. He's got the 65 catcher ability, good work ethic. But yeah, our owner, I guess he saw what we were doing this offseason and liked it, so he gave us a little bit more money. And interesting. This guy's fascinating. Hurston Waldrop. Going to be 32 in a couple weeks. So he's split time between the bullpen and starting. $14 million. I would be interested if maybe he's available in a few weeks when spring training starts. Tink Hence is still out here. He is realized he's probably not going to get a ton of money. I'm not against bringing him back. Let's get a scouting report out of him, though. Just make sure he hasn't fallen off a cliff before I go give him any money. God, this guy's still hanging around. Young Pio-Ko. Seattle couldn't wait to get rid of him a couple seasons back, and he's still hanging around at age 42. Oh, yeah, I was looking at Grant McCray earlier this offseason. His vein has dropped. I'm gonna throw him a minor league deal. One of my favorite all-time players in the save. It was heartbreaking when I had to give him up, but Hunter Owen, this guy's interesting too. Side armor. What are his splits like? Still, although he's a labrum, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'll go look at some more when spring training starts, but those are a few offers to throw out there. I'll have to fill out my minor league rosters a little bit, I'm sure. It's tough for these lower minors teams to ever do well because the AI doesn't know how to promote guys, but at least my AA team, AAA team can be good pretty much every season. So spring training's about to start. And I should go promote guys for my international complex. I'll do that off camera, and we'll come back in just a second. All right, so we are in the middle of spring training, and Patrick Bailey, who wound up signing, and I was kind of anticipating being our starting catcher, just randomly decided to retire. I guess he didn't want to. He wants to be more involved in his church, so good for him. noble endeavor, of course, but yeah, that sucks. So mid spring training, we're having to make pretty significant changes. This is usually how I do my spring training anyway. I don't actually play any of the guys who are going to make the roster. I give the guys who are borderline plenty of opportunities to play and get a lot of at bats, so I can get a good sample, see how everyone's doing. So, do you want these stats? So yeah, now Amazan has the inside track for this backup catcher job suddenly. We also brought back editor Nieto last year. So he also has an opportunity, and Jorge Valero, who I like, had a good year, decent year in AAA last year. And yeah, he's also a candidate for that final spot. So, Chris Grimm's pretty locked in, so I'm going to try to play Nieto a little bit and Valero. Just a tad more than they had been. Oops, I copied the wrong lineup. And we'll just paste this over here. So, yeah, we'll update after spring training, but I just wanted to get that in there because it was a little weird. Weird timing and pretty bad timing for us, too. So, we'll be back in just a second with opening day. All right, so we're here opening day 2034, and almost made it out unscathed, but Alex Kranzler, sore shoulder, he's out. He got hurt on like the last day of spring training. Unfortunate. And then the big blow, depending on how you feel about him, Steve Graysick, almost another guy who almost made it through spring unscathed, but tore his UCL. He'll be out for the whole season. Looks like he got hurt in a relief appearance in AAA, which sucks. He was the last cut on my team. Actually, yeah, he was the last cut, and I wound up DFAing Pierce George, Jay Driver, and Grady Emerson. Emerson had a good spring, but I just didn't have a spot for him. Unfortunate, but I'm sure he'll be up at some point. I shouldn't say I'm sure. I think he'll be up at some point. But Pierce George has already been back to the active roster. I still like him. He's 30 years old at this point. I haven't really given him a fair shake at any point, so I'm gonna roll with him as our long reliever to begin the year. And besides that, I mean, nothing too surprising. Anthony Fett made the team. Had an awesome spring, like 15 scoreless innings. So I decided to have him make the team. Carlos Mendoza, Heath Andrews, who was a late season call-up. We'll see what he has. He has a couple option years, so we could always send him down. And then Sam Simpson and Pierce George rounded out. Dave McCrabb's back this season. That'll be big to have him. We only had him for about half the year last year. And then Jax Bishop and Martin Blanco, of course. And then the rotation is as expected. Robbie Watkins was a little shaky in spring, but he showed enough to get that 5 spot. And, yeah, the other 4 are pretty much locked in. And then no huge surprises here that make the team. Nelson Grigio makes it as the kind of last hitter. He'll be my platoon guy against lefties. And then we'll have Carter Smith slide in against lefties as well. And then it'll be Lesko and Els against righties. Nothing too surprising there. And Chris Grimm will get a shot as the starting catcher along with Amazan. So there we go. That'll wrap up spring training. Let's go to opening day here. We're playing Tampa Bay in their house for the first game of the season. Marquez on the mound once again. And we win 8-1. Big day for the offense. Molinex 3 hits. Stroman and Harris drive in a pair each. Grigio drives in a run as well, and Carter Smith a couple hits. Marquez really solid, and then Anthony Fett and Pierce George close it out. So, successful opening day for us there. And Isaac Morton will make his Nashville debut after getting a big contract in free agency. So let's see what he can do in his first start. We win 4-3, and Andy Bumbre is back from his big injury. I'm going to send him on a rehab assignment. And hopefully he can crack the roster at some point here. So we win 4-3. And Frank Correa drove in a couple runs. Decent day for the offense. And Isaac Morton, solid in his first start. Nothing special, but Mendoza, McCrabb, and Blanco close it out. So looking for the sweep here. Milt Almond on the mound. And simulation here. we lose 4-1. Only 3 hits as a team. Lesko drew a couple walks. Getting on base a ton to start the year, which is a good sign. Allman, not horrible, but not great either. And then Simpson, McCrabber, good, but not enough offense there. So we take 2 out of 3 against Tampa Bay to begin the year, and that's where we'll end the episode. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back mid-season for our update. So we'll see you then. Goodbye.